Good day, welcome to today's news update on Research News Channel. FG says state governments have been permitted to reopen schools. The Federal Ministry of Education has said state governments are the ones to decide when to allow the reopening of schools. The Minister of State for Education made the disclosure during a briefing. The minister said the guidelines for the safe reopening of schools has been made available to states. The federal government has said it has given permission to state governments to decide when to allow the reopening of schools in their respective states.
The Minister of State for Education made the disclosure on Thursday, September 17th, when responding to a question during the televised Presidential Task Force COVID-19 briefing monitored on Channels TV.
State governments have been permitted by the federal government to decide when to allow schools to reopen in their states. Photo credits, Getty Images source, Getty Images. The minister stated that the federal government has already granted permission to the state governments to reopen schools.
However, stated that state governments must adhere to the COVID-19 safety guidelines for the reopening of schools, which was made available by the Ministry of Education. He said having made the guideline of school reopening available, local authorities were now the ones to determine when schools in their respective states should reopen. Meanwhile, Oyo state government has directed the reopening of all tertiary institutions in the state for regular academic activities from Monday, September 28th.
Governor Seyi Makinde gave the directive on Tuesday, September 15th, in Ibadan, Oyo state capital, with the order coming despite the presence of the coronavirus pandemic in the country. Conveying Makinde's directive, Olasunkanmi Alalai, Commissioner for Education, Science, and Technology, announced that necessary COVID-19 guidelines must be put in place for safe reopening. In another report, the Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASUU) has vowed to unleash its next plan if the federal government failed to meet its demands as contained in the agreements between the two sides in 2009.
ASUU President, Professor Bayodun Ogunyemi, made this known during a town and gown meeting at the African Hall in the University of Ilorin, Kwara State.
Research News gathered that the meeting, which was also attended by parents, students' union leaders and alumni of universities in the country, saw conversation lengthened down to the reopening of the universities. Still on education, ASUU has raised an alarm over what the body termed as a deliberate attempt to strangulate public education in Nigeria. Speaking during a town and gown meeting at the African Hall in the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, ASUU President Professor Bayodun Ogunyemi said the lecturer's body is being neglected by the federal government because there were plans to make education inaccessible to the poor. Ogunyemi lamented that the apathy of the government towards public education is the reason for the sudden increase in social vices such as banditry and Yahoo.
Next to the trending news about sport, Chelsea, Barcelona among 10 biggest spenders in Europe in 2020 with £850 million on transfers. Chelsea are topping the list of highest spenders in Europe for the year 2020. The Blues have spent big during this transfer window, rolling out £200.88 million. Barcelona are occupying second position on the list with £92.7 million. Chelsea, where Premier League club, have now emerged as the side topping the list of biggest spenders in Europe for the year 2020 following massive signings at Stamford Bridge.
Last season, Frank Lampard and his Wards failed to win any title in all competitions, but the Blues did themselves lots of good by qualifying for the Champions League.
However, club's owner Roman Abramovich decided to help his side by releasing massive sum of £200.88 million for Lampard to recruit big players this summer. The Blues stunned the transfer market with the signings of Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Ben Chilwell and Hakim Ziyech among others. Barcelona, who also failed to win any title last season in Spain, are occupying second position on the list of big spenders, while Inter Milan occupy third. In total, 4 Premier League clubs are among the big spenders in Europe for the year 2020 according to Transfermarkt.
See the list below. 1. Chelsea, £200.88 million. 2. Barcelona, £92.7 million. 3. Inter Milan, £81.45 million. 4. Atletico Madrid, £81 million. 5. Benfica, £72 million. 6. Manchester City, £71 million. 7. Juventus, £69 million. 8. Napoli, £63 million. 9. Leeds United, £61 million. 10. Aston Villa, £58 million.
Chelsea, Barcelona among 10 biggest spenders in Europe in 2020 with £850 million on transfers. Photo, Getty source. Getty Images. Napoli, who are occupying 8th position, have only signed Nigerian footballer Victor Osimhen in a great move for the Super Eagles star. Earlier, Research News had reported how veteran Brazilian defender Thiago Silva handed Chelsea camp a huge boost after joining them in training for the first time on Wednesday, September 16th. The 35-year-old joined Frank Lampard's side on a free transfer from Paris Saint-Germain this transfer window. He signed a year deal with the London club until the end of the current season. He participated in the Blues session along with Ben Chilwell, which includes group matches and other drills.
It will be recalled that both players were not part of their Monday night's victory over Brighton and Hove Albion, which saw them kick off their campaign on a winning note.
Kindly stay tuned for more interesting news update. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Research News.